All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to this explainer where we're going to absolutely master Domain 8 of the Florida real estate exam. Today, we are focusing entirely on property rights and ownership forms. Listen, if you're gearing up for your FREC exam, you already know that nailing these state-specific laws is totally non-negotiable.
Property rights make up a very solid 8% of your exam. But here's the harsh reality behind that number. When we look at actual candidate score reports, this is a domain where a lot of test takers just stumble. We literally see candidates scoring as low as 2 out of 8 possible points in this exact section. That is leaving way too many points on the table, and we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen to you.
Section 1. Condos versus co-ops. Ownership differences.
Okay, let's tackle the biggest beginner stumbling block right out of the gate. For the exam, you need to know exactly what the owner is actually holding in their hand. With a condo, you get a literal deed to your specific physical airspace. You own that real property. A cooperative or co-op owner, on the other hand, they don't actually own the real estate itself. No way. Instead, they hold corporate shares of stock in the corporation that owns the whole building, and they get a proprietary lease to live in their unit. So, deed to airspace versus shares of stock. Lock that difference in. It's a huge one. Section 2, Community Alphabets, HOAs, CDDs, and Timeshares. So for the state exam, we really need to focus on what triggers an assessment or fee and what happens if you just don't pay it. When you buy into an HOA or a timeshare, membership is not optional. You are legally on the hook to pay your share of common expenses. In timeshares, these exact assessments have to be strictly disclosed right above the signature line, and they might even separately bill you for ad valorem real estate taxes. But here is the major test takeaway. Failing to pay your share of these expenses can directly result in the restriction or total loss of your property rights. They can literally place a lien on your property and take it.
Which brings us to the CDD. It is so important not to confuse your standard HOA fees with community development districts. A CDD is actually an independent special district. They levy special tax assessments to fund major community-wide infrastructure. We're talking water management, roads, bridges, the big stuff. It is a tax assessment, not just a neighborhood fee.
Section 3, Homestead Protection, Florida's legal shield.
Now we need to talk about an incredibly powerful legal tool that is unique to our state. Beyond the standard tax exemptions that save us all a few bucks, the primary focus for your exam regarding the Homestead Act is its protective shield. The Florida Homestead protects your primary residence from forced sale by personal creditors. If you suddenly rack up massive credit card debt or, unexpected medical bills, those general creditors cannot force you to sell your primary residence to pay it off. It's an amazing protection.
But of course, there are exceptions. The state will absolutely not protect your property from foreclosure if you fail to pay the specific debts tied directly to the property itself. That means if you skip out on your mortgage, your property taxes, or those CDD special assessments we just broke down, that Homestead Shield drops completely and you can lose the home.
Section 4, Rapid Review Quiz. Test your knowledge.
Okay, you've got the concepts. Let's lock this in with a rapid-fire quiz to simulate the computer-based testing environment you're going to face. Question 1. Which property ownership form grants the owner corporate shares rather than a traditional deed?
The answer is a cooperative, or co-op, because co-op owners hold stock and a proprietary lease, not actual real property. Question 2. What is the primary purpose of the Florida Homestead Protection regarding debt? It prevents forced sale by personal creditors. It's designed to shield the primary residence from general debt collection. Moving on to question 3. True or false? Florida Homestead protects your home from foreclosure due to an unpaid mortgage. That is false. Mortgages, property taxes, and special assessments are very specific exceptions that bypass homestead protections. Question 4. How is a condominium owner's interest physically described on the exam compared to a co-op? Condos give a deed to physical airspace. Remember, co-ops only grant shares of stock. Final question, number 5. Does an HOA or CDD have the power to levy assessments that can result in the loss of property rights? The answer is yes. Failure to timely pay mandatory assessments can absolutely result in a lien or the total loss of your use rights. You guys crushed that, but I want to leave you with a really serious question to think about. If you drop points on this highly testable 8% domain of property rights, are you prepared enough in the massive real estate contracts or mortgages sections to save your final score?
Master these fundamental rights, or risk having to rebuild your entire exam strategy from scratch. Best of luck studying.